Well, because this particular channel is all about optimism and finding the silver lining, I'll start with the fantastic beat on energy storage that Tesla had in the fourth quarter. I correctly predicted 11 gigawatt hours versus the 9 expected. Now, let me be clear, my anticipation of 11 gigawatt hours was based on the fact that we know what the annual output is. We know it's going to be lumpy on a month, on a quarter to quarter basis. And the last month was down. And the month when we did 9 gigawatt hours was still not enough to absorb all of the totals that are being produced. So I picked out a number that I thought would be higher because eventually all of those units that are being made have to be accounted for. Anyway, let's turn our attention to the headline number, and that sadly was a very big miss. Uh, and once again, everybody got it wrong. So we didn't quite get to 500,000 units shipped. That means we didn't get anywhere close to last year's total number for the year. But I don't know, Dan Ives, he's a pretty optimistic guy too. He says this, he says, overall, we would characterize this as a respectable delivery number. Looking to full year 25, we remain highly confident in Tesla's ability to accelerate delivery growth into full year 2025 with the 20 to 30% growth, which is what Elon Musk had said he would do this year. I think it'll be higher than that. You've heard me say that repeatedly over the last few days, as soon as unsupervised is announced. He says that they maintain their outperform rating at $515 a share sometime next year. And of course, his bull case is similar to mine. He's up around 700. I think he might even have a higher bull case than that. Anyway, also of interest this morning, the earnings call will be on January 29th. That's a week later than normal. I kept on saying, gee, it'll be on the 22nd, just 2 days after the president takes office. I think that probably Elon made the decision on this based on his being busy that week. I mean, remember that first day and those first 100 days, huge, huge, huge. It's got to the point where Elon is now living across the street from Mar-a-Lago, spending, I forget how much a night to stay right there so he can be totally involved. So yeah, the 20th, 21st, 22nd, I think that's gonna be a busy time. So anyway, the earnings report will be a week late. Sometimes people say that when they have it really super late like that, not Tesla, but any company has it later than normal, it's because there's bad news and they want to hold off doing the bad news. And when they're early, that's good news. They want to get the news out there. I think it has nothing to do with it. I think it's everything to do with Trump taking office. So Matt Smith got up early today. Matt Smith, Rebellionaire partner to Ferguson, Bradford Ferguson, who will be on tonight later, by the way. Okay, so Matt Smith, he got busy this morning, got out his spreadsheet, started putting in numbers. He says, look, I'm fairly disappointed. By the way, you can find him at Matchasm, 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 Matt. I don't know what that means. Okay, fairly disappointing deliveries, to be honest, but wow, energy storage deployments was a big positive development. He was only expecting about 75 cents of adjusted EPS based on 504,000 deliveries at 10 gigawatts of deployments. And he thought that was aggressive. So with those adjustments, he still comes in at 72 cents. A bit disappointing, but not in an extreme way. By the way, I'm not going to do an earnings estimate, but I think we will have a margin beat, and I've talked about that. I still think there's going to be a margin beat. The smaller total numbers, of course, will reduce the overall, as he points out, reduce the overall earnings. But I think that the margin beat will be the surprise and be exciting. All right. Now, how about a bit of perspective? Tesla is back to where it was on December 4th and 5th. If you may remember, if you're a regular here, you know that my call for post earnings for the end of January was 410. That is still my call for the end of January. Brian Wong's call for the end of January is 450. He might be closer than me. I don't know. It might be 450, it might be 410. But I think all of us will be very, very happy with 410 or 450 at the end of January. I know that for a fact. Not one of you out there would be sad if we were at 410 or 450 at the end of January. Most Americans won't realize that the old stream news, the old stream media, the OSM, as opposed to the MSM, the old stream media, the coverage of the Las Vegas terrorist attack at Trump Towers was also used to attack Tesla. Who got attacked the most? I mean, one of the bombers died and a few people were injured. I'm very sad about those folks that were injured, but it could have been much, much worse. But you, as the Tesla faithful, you should be outraged. I mean, it's shameful. The Cybertruck used by the terrorists to try and create mass death and destruction actually prevented the very thing they tried to accomplish in a way that should be lauded. But instead, we have these kinds of headlines. Las Vegas police show video of Tesla Cybertruck explosion at Trump Hotel. Las Vegas police give update on Cybertruck explosion. Officials probe possible military link between suspects. Oh, that has nothing to do with it. Let's see here. There's some more. Officials search for possible New Orleans. One dead after Tesla's Cybertruck explodes outside Trump Tower. Las Vegas Cybertruck explosion investigate leads to, yeah. So this is from The Guardian, from The Independent, from NBC, from mostly NBC, by the way, CNN. A Tesla Cybertruck exploded outside a Tesla. So yeah, it was across the board, everybody coming in with nonsense instead of what the news really was. Okay, let's look here. This is about the Chinese auto sales, if you're interested in the competition. For starters, Chinese EV startup XPeng delivered 36,695. That's up 82% year over year. So they did good. NIO delivered 31,138 deliveries, up 73% year over year. For Li Auto, 58,000 vehicles, up 16% from a year earlier. And BYD, China's largest EV maker, delivered 207,000 all-electric vehicles in December, up about 9% year over year. For the quarter, BYD delivered about 595,000 all-electric cars. 595 would put them above Tesla for the quarter. So good. They did a good job. For the year, BYD sold almost 1.8 million all-electric cars, which will be just about the same as Tesla for the year. But BYD shares fell about 3.2% in overseas trading. Yeah, okay. All right. So this is Randy Kirk, by the way. Oh, I had one more story. I thought I had well, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. What did I do? There was maybe it'll show up in a minute. Anyway, hit the like, subscribe, and notify button. Thank you very much, Tommy H., who has joined Patreon overnight. That is very kind of you, Tommy H. I could use a few more just like you. You can join at the $3 level, the $5 level, the $10 level, the $50 level, and those that join at the $5 or $10 level are due books and or Cybertruck bottle openers. Please remember to ask me for those. I'm not going. You're going to need to ask because I won't remember. No, I'm just serious. I should. I'll go back. I've only had in December, like 3 people joined, so I'll go back on the other 2 if they were $5 or $10 and remind them that they get some prizes. Anyway, it says here that in the week ending December 28th, the advance figure for seasonally adjusted initial claims was 211,000. That is a decrease from 9,000 of the previous week's revised level, which was revised by 1,000. The 4-week moving average was 223,250, which is also a decrease. However, this is the one that I pay attention to. The total number of continued weeks claimed for benefits in all programs was 1,974,000. That is an increase of 81,926. That means that people that have lost their job are staying out longer. This is not good, but I don't expect. Well, all right, let's see what the Wall Street Journal has to say about the upcoming year in terms of the economy. It says investors are eyeing 2025 with an eager optimism, hoping the markets will continue their strong performance from 2024. Now, remember, we've had 2 years, S&P up over 20%, 2 years in a row. One headline I saw said it's very rare to have a trifecta. Will we have 3 years in a row of S&P up? Probably not of another 20%, although there's so much optimism, there's so much potential for the year to be strong. Anyway, the Wall Street Journal continues, the economy is on solid footing as inflation continues to come down. Not necessarily. And the labor market is stable enough to keep the Fed satisfied. The stock market finished another gangbuster year, up 24%. It doesn't hurt that the business community get their candidate of choice in the November election. The business community got their candidate of choice. President-elect Donald Trump pledged to cut taxes and regulations. And you know he's going to cut the regulations. The taxes might be harder, but I think it'll happen. Two campaign promises that are always a welcome news to investors. As 2025 begins, Fortune compiled a list of major market and economic predictions for the year ahead. Says the U.S. economy will continue to grow. The economic growth that characterized the U.S. economy in 2024 is expected to continue, although not quite at the same levels. Goldman Sachs has a 2.5% increase for next year compared to 2.8. Despite that slight dip, the healthy 2.5 clip would indicate a widespread recession fears of 22 and 23 have mostly been abated. Instead, the markets expect a growing economy that will keep investors feeling satisfied. These positive feelings will also extend to consumers, the backbone of the U.S. economy, according to Goldman. As inflation keeps coming down, probably consumers, I'm going to have to rethink that. I got to really rethink that. Consumers should start to see lower prices and perhaps more importantly, start to feel better about their finances. That'll happen if the people under 100,000 start seeing actual real gains in their income, which happens under Trump. By the way, it was happening the last 2 quarters. According to government statistics, those people are starting to do a little better. Consumer spending should remain the core pillar of of strong growth, supported both by rising real income. Well, look at that, driven by the solid labor market and an extra boost from wealth effects, according to Jan Hatzius. I've never seen that last name before. 𝐓𝐡𝐮𝐼US, she wrote in November. All right, so where are the markets? By the way, the other story, I don't know, I guess I forgot to put it down, was that not Car and Driver, the other, Motor Trend was put down their list of the trucks that are in contention for Truck of the Year this year. And believe it or not, Tesla was among them. If you'd like to read the portion of the article that was involved there, go over on X. You should be following me on X anyway. I did put it up on X. I forgot to put it here. I'm so sorry. So after Tesla was down 25 points in the early going, 25, yes, it's true. It is still down 23. Actually, it had gone back to 16. Now it's back down to $23.46, down at 380. Now, on X, you will see that I've predicted that Tesla will end up at 380 for the day. I could be off by 20 points. What I'm thinking is that overall, this is not worth $60 billion or whatever this would be of markdown. But there's this knee-jerk reaction, and we see this all the time in the early going. People then calm down, take a longer look, start thinking ahead. And guess what? The other thing that happens is bargain hunters come in and start grabbing up shares. We saw that once already. Again, it went all the way. It was down 25. It went back to only down 16. Now it's back down to 23. I think we might go higher than this, but I think at the end of the day, we might be around 380. But again, I'm just, throwing stuff out there. This is just my gut feeling for today. All right. Apple also getting hit today, down almost 5. The Dow Jones, however, is up 150. The NASDAQ is up 70. The S&P is up 19. All of those were up substantially more earlier. Did I say that well? They were all up more earlier this morning. All of them have started to come down, which might be why Tesla is coming down, is now starting to follow the market as part of its overall thinking about today's activity. But anyway, all three indices are down compared to their highs of the morning. And all of the Meg 7, the rest of the Meg 7 are all up, but all heading down at this moment. The Cathie Woods are all up this morning, but all of them are coming off of their highs of the morning. So usually there will be a reason for that. I have no idea. If there is a reason, it might just be market action on the first day of trading for the new year. Let's take a look at the bonds, which were doing quite nicely this morning, in my opinion, and they are doing quite nicely. The 10-year is down 4.6 basis points to 4.531. I'd like it to see it come under that 4.5 and then just keep falling. The 2-year, where is the 2-year? What happened to the 2-year? There we go. Is down 2.9 basis points, and the 1 month is up slightly, up 1 basis point. All right, oil was up strongly earlier this morning. Again, no clear reason why why oil should be up. Eyeing the China recovery is the headline. I don't know. So oil is up though, $73.31 in Texas Intermediate. That's strong, 76.21 for Brent. So this is going in the opposite direction of what I'm expecting. I would it could be a little bit of that winter cold snap. That could be part of what's going on here. Natural gas up a little bit, 1.13% at 3.674, but nothing like the over $4 it was a couple of days ago. Gold nudging higher, back to the 2662 level, kind of the middle of its range. Silver up 2.25 this morning, but not back over $30 yet, $29.90. Copper down 0.37%, but holding above $4 at $4.01. The dollar is very strong, but mixed this morning. The Bitcoin up almost 2,000 to 96,553, putting it back in that range, 94, my range. I don't know if anybody else has this range, 94 to 100 and whatever the high was, I forget. And that is all you've got. Let's go back. Okay, so what do we got today? Normal day. We've got Bradford Ferguson around 5 o'clock, 5:15, something like that. We have got Cern Basher at exactly 7:45. So hang in there for Cern at 7:45. I know he's going to have some really cool stuff. And of course, Bradford will have a ton to say about today's action. What else do you need to know? Oh yeah, last night, Brian Wang, phenomenal show with Brian. He gave about 10 predictions for next year, and not just about Tesla, about NVIDIA, about rocketry, about other things. So about 10 predictions. If you didn't see that, of course, I'll put the card up for you right there. And I think you'll enjoy that show a ton. Like, subscribe, notify. Go down to Patreon and become yet another person to help support the channel. Go over to X and start following me there. Doing very well on X right now. I might have 1 million views or 1 million. In the last 24 hours, I potentially will hit 1 million folks having seen my stuff. That would be an all-time high for me in a short period. I'm also finally monetized over there. Tesla's still down $23.16 at 380.68. That is where we're going to leave you today. As always, it has been great talking to you.